it was huge. I mean, it lasted 5 seasons. That's insane. I mean, Batman the Animated Series lasted 3, and that's
So
just...
Jem's better than Batman.
Now I have to use Kolinar to pretend you never said that.
You need another round of Kolinar.
If I represent, yo.
I was gonna write you an email, but I'm a little drunk and spelling is a sober person's game. So I feel I owe you an explanation. I'm sorry. Explanation.
I'm crushing your head.
Give it 5 minutes.
Well, let's get an introduction here.
We've almost forgot it last time. At least I did.
I kept waiting, and you're just la 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 la. Let's go. Here we go.
Go right into it.
Oh boy. I can cast spells. Stand back or be cursed. Welcome back.
I think the people know it's hitting the shot. It's hitting.
Before I was so rudely interrupted. It is I, X7, the very nice and not very evil Agent of Awesome. Along with me here is my wide-eyed Angel of Innocence. Well, I tried.
You absolutely are evil.
Yes, the Empress of Evil herself, Lilith Draco. Thank you for handing me that one.
You are evil, not me.
I just called you the Angel of Innocence. You couldn't keep a straight face either.
Because I was still laughing at you saying you weren't evil. You were the most evil.
I said
like the
not.
fruits of the devil. Evil.
I wish I knew any Russian other than Tovarish. So, well, Lilith, you still drinking? Are you having a beers?
What you cracking open there? No, I am not having a beers today.
You know, you should. So I'm drinking Mr. Sandman by the Andrews Sisters, one of those sister groups. Mr. Sandman, send me a dream, make her the cutest I've ever seen. And I'm just right out of here. This is an Imperial Stout, one of my favorite type of beers. It is from River North Brewery. I think that says 11.3 or 11.5.
Can't tell if it's a 3 or a 5.
Well, the light here isn't that great. 11.3. I don't know where River North is.
I don't either.
It's not River Song because she's with the Doctor.
Right.
Because I can work a Doctor Who reference into just about anything.
Anyway, so I don't have a beers. So I am drinking whiskey.
Out of the jar? Oh.
Right out of the jar.
What a cool stopper.
Right? This is my Kraken stopper. But this is what I'm drinking, Porter's Fire. It is local, so the distillery is up in north of Salt Lake in 1800s.
North of the 18th century.
Yeah. They have other flavors. The Fire is a cinnamon. Way better than anything like Fireball or anything like that. Very smooth. Goes down easy. They have a huckleberry, a peach, and a peanut butter.
Ooh.
They're okay. I don't mind those. This one's the best.
You have brought that to Fossil Bed.
I have
sampled that. And it's way better than Fireball because
Right.
stupid Kirk tricking me into that, thinking I was getting a shot of Jameson.
And because it's a local to Utah, it's named after, and that's a picture of him, Porter Rockwell, who, if you know the history of the Mormons in Utah, he was technically the hitman for Brigham Young, who settled the area.
Lilith, what are Mormons?
It's a cult.
I thought it was a multi-level marketing system.
It is a multi-level marketing, and that's why MLMs in Utah blow up. That's why they are everywhere. I can tell you, drive down a street and see business names, and I can tell you which ones are the MLMs. They run rampant here because it is the same model as the Mormon Church, unfortunately. Anyway, so this whiskey was named after the hitman for the Mormons, and he was saved. He's not going to hell in their theology because he was killing for Jesus.
Was
Mhm.
he if he was the hitman, was he the excellence of execution?
Yep.
The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be?
Yep. And he took on the same story that Samson did, where he couldn't cut his hair.
I used to say that too.
And growing up, he was so many men's, like they looked up to him.
Idol.
So many guys
Idol
looked up to Porter Rockwell as an idol. They wanted to be badass like him.
What
You're a
happened?
hitman.
What happened to him in the end? Did he get whacked by somebody else?
No, I don't know. I want to say he just died of old age, natural causes. I don't think he was actually killed himself. I know there is a cabin that you can actually go see. That was one of the places that he lived. But yeah, I don't know fully what happened in the end, but I want to say he just died of disease or natural causes or whatever.
Aw.
Yeah, I know, it's a bummer.
So
anyway,
where do
so
we
that's
go?
what I'm drinking tonight.
So our fellow, we do have a top. Well, I have a topic. I came up with a topic, and we're going to discuss, each one of us, Lilith and I, one of our favorite superheroes, film or comic book, whatever you'd like. Should have probably been more clear about that in case you wanted to say, you know, Mowgli was your favorite superhero from the Jungle Book.
Right. You just said superhero.
Yeah, could have said hero, but it's a fine line between superhero and hero, because is Batman a superhero or he's just a hero because he doesn't have superpowers?
He's an anti-hero.
Except he
like
he's a duly deputized officer of the law, according to Grade A Adam West.
He's too connected with the character to really know.
All right, so I got nothing here. Would you like to go first? Well,
sure, I can go first.
I timed that while you were drinking, of course.
I know you did. So mine comes at no surprise. I could have.
I'm just that smooth.
Well, no, I knew what you were going for. You're not that smooth.
I'm not that smooth. Nobody believes I'm that smooth.
I knew what you were going for, and I thought about choosing one that's not an obvious favorite of mine, but I decided to go with the obvious favorite of mine. I went with Gambit, and I don't have him up here.
You don't. You can see watch the previous episode, and you'll see him. One of the previous episodes.
Yep, there were several Gambits.
Hundreds of him. Gambit variants. Loki has not, the TVA has not pruned all of the Gambit variants.
No, they have not. They haven't even pruned one.
The one they
That's
really
how
need
great
to prune.
he is. Well, one they really do need to prune. That will be next.
I am going to watch that movie. We should discuss that movie.
We should. I like that movie.
Yes. That might be like a 3-part episode.
Yeah. Anyway, so yes.
Well, Lilith, why do you like Gambit?
Well, I don't know exactly why. I don't know what it is about him that when I first was introduced to him, why he became a favorite. I just really liked the character. While he's one of the main characters, he's a side main character. I don't know. He just that he just I connected to him as a kid.
So,
Um,
how were you introduced to him?
so I was introduced to him in X-Men the animated series, which I
Yeah.
believe came out in October 1992.
Being friends, Facebook friends with one of the artists that worked on that, I think you are correct.
Yeah, in October 1992, it had 5 seasons. And so that's where I started watching him. And just in the cartoon, he just ended up being my favorite character. I liked his accent. I just liked his personality.
Oh,
he had
shit.
he had a fun superhero power. It wasn't, one that was standard. He can create, control, manipulate pure kinetic energy. He can flip cards. He is trained in a bow staff, hand-to-hand combat. What?
You're killing me. You know more about him than I do. Man, I'm glad I wasn't drinking anything then and to come out my nose. You know what a stout would feel like coming out, an imperial stout coming out your nose?
That would burn.
Well, not as much as a bitter. It'd be like, I would have the same what if you snorted out a Maha? Do you know?
Oh, that would be
annoyed.
awful.
You'd be annoyed too because you wasted
Yeah.
Maha.
Right.
Did you watch the X-Men 97 cartoon then, the sequel?
I didn't.
You mean you haven't? I'm sure he's in it.
I haven't watched it. No.
So, what's Rembit's?
His name is Remy LeBeau.
Yeah, okay, that was my next question. Yes.
I know it was kind of in there. Remy LeBeau, and he was born in New Orleans, Louisiana. And when he was young, he was raised in the Thieves Guild of New Orleans. And that's where he was trained to be one of the best thieves ever. Very elusive and very charming. And you see that in his character later on.
At least in the cartoon character, not the live action one.
Well, it depends. He's not
Wait.
He has that charming.
Was he in the first
in Wolverine Origins? That's where he first was in a live action movie.
Was that the same guy that was supposed to be him?
That was Taylor Kittich.
Right. John Carter later on.
Right. It wasn't the best portrayal of Gambit, but it wasn't super bad. It was just like another character. Right. But he wasn't uncharming.
It wasn't the best Wolverine movie either.
Well, no.
Yeah.
And so the newest one, the Wolverine and Deadpool, Channing Tatum, he was supposed to be Gambit in a live action movie for years. And directors kept falling out. They didn't want to do it. He kept trying. And there was actually a lot of pushback from Ryan Reynolds to get him as Gambit on this movie. Like, he really pushed for him.
Whoa. Ryan Reynolds? Green Lantern?
Well, yeah. 14 minutes of wrong. pushed for him to be in this as Gambit.
The Mint Mobile guy?
So now the whole talks about him being Gambit in a live action movie have started up again, whether or not it happens, but I wouldn't say that character of Gambit was charming or anything like that. It was just comedy.
I've learned
It was
more
for comedy having him as Gambit than being the Gambit character. The
right.
way the
It's
character actually is.
It was fan service is what it was, right?
Right.
I've seen a clip of it at least somewhere. And I think
I sent you a clip of it.
Right. And we watched that Wolverine movie, right? 100 years ago.
We may have. I don't remember.
I've seen the first, that one, the second one, and the third one. How many Wolverine movies are there? The one that ties right back into X-Men Days of Future Past.
I don't know.
I've never seen Old Man Logan because
I haven't either.
But
I haven't seen all of the X-Men.
I saw the first one, the very first one. Didn't see the second two, but then I watched all the ones that were set in the 80s.
Right.
Those I liked. Guess we shouldn't talk about Phoenix.
We will one day.
We will not. My beloved Jean Grey.
Oh yes, we will.
Damn Marvel and their redheads.
Hey.
Marvel.
Just enjoy it.
Well, I probably
know you do.
A little too much.
It's fine.
Tiger became a redhead after I had her tattooed on me. She's not a redhead beforehand.
So you chose the red hair on your tattoo.
Oh, I have two of them on me. What am I thinking?
I think everyone who knows you knows what you were thinking. Knows.
And that red hair of hers is no lie. That's a quote from The Quiet Man with Maureen O'Hara. So I was programmed way back when. I mean, I was watching Batgirl when I was 3 years old. So where are we going here?
Oh, all right. So what hero did you choose to talk about?
So, my hero I chose is one that's not very well known much these days. They keep trying revivals of him, but it is Dynamo from the Thunder Agents. The Thunder Agents was a comic book published. It's THUNDR for the where's the damn, God bless it, the higher United Nations. You know how, well, see, Man from U.N.C.L.E. Everything had shortened it, and like SHIELD, which originally stood for the Supreme Headquarters International Espionage Law Enforcement Division. Now, I don't even know what it means now. Something else in the Avengers, in the MCU. No. But so everything in the late 60s, because of the Man from U.N.C.L.E., had those periods after it. So it spelled something and it was cool. But so the Thunder Agents was a response to that. It was from an independent, it wasn't from Marvel or DC, it was from Tower Publications. So it never made it past like 20 issues, 21 issues. A lot of them were reprints. Okay. And I never saw them until about 75. My friend Dale had an issue of that and an issue of Undersea Agent, which was an offshoot, because Undersea also spelled something ridiculously long. So it was Tower, and it was they've been brought back. People have tried to make them over again, but they never have. So Dynamo was the lead hero. He was their Superman. He had a belt that would increase his strength and his density, so he could, survive bullets. But the power only lasted 30 minutes, so he couldn't. And he had to let it recharge. He couldn't do it again, or he'd kill himself. That was the hook there. And all of the Thunder Agents had things like that. they could use their power, but it was all a belt or a gimmick of some kind. But because I'd never seen them until I was 10, I'd known about the Avengers and the Justice League, the Doom Patrol, my beloved Metal Men, which is I would have chosen, but they're a team and not a superhero.
Okay.
And the Defender, Marvel didn't have a lot of super teams. They had the Avengers and the Fantastic Four for a long time. That was it. But the Thunder Agents was all new. And I mean, to me, even though they were 10 years old by that time. So I just really was, intrigued by them. And the art was by Wally Wood. He created them. He's just a gorgeous, smooth artist. So Len Brown was Dynamo, and he got it. And he didn't get his powers because he was chosen. Well, he was chosen to wear the belt. That's it. He was a field agent in the spy organization of Thunder, which they did not tell me what it means again. The Higher United Nations something. I don't remember what the DER stands for. Probably dopey, excellent reserve agent.
Right.
7. So, but they were agents, and they didn't have secret identities, so they didn't worry about all that crap. And of course, his main adversary was the Iron Maiden. I'm going to regret this. I know I'm going to regret this. Rusty, as he called her, because they had the love-hate relationship. Rusty, of course, was a redhead. So, because I'm in hell, that's just all there is to it. But I didn't know that till later on when they started reprinting them, because they were alleged to be in the public domain, which they really weren't, but they kind of were. And they, like I said, they've tried to reboot them constantly, and it's just never taken because I think they were of their own time. But it's a fun concept undone by a lack of money for distribution for the comic books, and that they didn't really have any continuity, which Marvel had established was important for readers to hook them into, especially with Spider-Man, Fantastic Four. But they had great artwork and good stories, but they were in what's the word where they're just not, damn it. They just weren't ready to, God, I can't think of the word. They just didn't have enough connection with each other. They would do one thing and contradict each other. So another story, because they had different writers who just weren't all on the same page, which happened in the 60s. But Marvel, Stan Lee especially, had just gotten that soap opera mold for the superheroes, and that really, because he was a romance writer before he did superheroes, which is what he did, was brought in soaps to superheroes, and it worked a trick, as Iron Man said when Thor jump-started his heart in Endgame, because I just watched it.
Right.
That worked a treat, and so they didn't have that. I mean, sadly, because it could have been a good story. I mean, it had real potential, but undone because of the times. And that happened a lot in that time period. So Dynamo is super cool. I mean, he was a dork. He couldn't understand. He liked the Iron Maiden, but he also had other women that were hitting on him, and he was oblivious because boys.
Right.
He's 23 years old in the original story, so he's still a dope. I mean, you don't get out of dopehood until at least 35 if you're a boy.
Right.
My humblest.
Sometimes never.
Sometimes never. No. And then the women marry them.
Right.
They get all excited about nothing, and then they marry him. It's not just boys.
Right.
So, anyway, so Dynamo, Thunder Agents. You can find pictures of him and stick him in all over the place here. And I'm sure you're going to find a picture of the Iron Maiden to torment me.
Of course. So you mentioned that people have tried to redo it, and it's just never taken.
Well,
what is it about it that other people have tried to get it to go somewhere and it just hasn't? There's got to be something. Like, I understand initially there was no continuity with the storyline.
That's the word.
But if somebody else steps in and tries to bring it back, you would think they'd be able to know the inconsistencies, adjust, and make it entertaining. Why do you think that group never really took?
Well, that's a great question. And so the original Thunder Agents ran from 65 to 69. I said 69. And they were like, I wasn't gonna do my Beavis and Butthead there. So they were not published, didn't even pre-grade.
Nope.
They were not published again until 1983. So there was a lack, or there was a gap of 14 years. And the kids that, like me, who didn't see them until 75, you know, several years after they quit, they saw them and said, oh, this artwork is great. The concept is great. The execution is what lacked. I mean, the stories were good, but again, they didn't gel quite. So they tried it again. There was also the fact that they thought they were in the public domain, so anyone could publish them, which was not true.
Okay.
So there was a big legal fight. There were two people, two companies that tried to do it in the 80s. Beautiful. Well, one was called Texas Comics. So guess what happened? They were the ones that were not supposed to be doing it.
Right.
But they had gorgeous artwork. George Perez, possibly my favorite comic book art. He is my favorite comic book artist of all time. Did artwork for them for the Raven and his drawing of the Iron Maiden. Of course, his wife was a redhead too, so go figure.
Right.
I got met him several times. Wonderful man. Deluxe Comics. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the 80s alone that tried to publish them. Some under the misconception that they were public domain. In the 90s, Rob Liefeld of Cable fame, who created Cable and other people, sort of, his awful artwork, said he had the rights. In the 21st century, DC tried doing it, and I believe that, what do I see here? Oh, it's just, I mean, they just keep trying, and I think it's such a 60s concept with the secret agents, or the agents being superheroes, that it just doesn't translate well into newer times.
Right.
That's where to the long story short, because I tied an onion to my belt to tell you that story. I told you that story to tell you this one. So that's what it had. It just reprint. People have reprint. I have the reprints, and they're reprinted gorgeously and all bound because they're expensive comics to buy as back issues, and you don't want to touch them because they'll disintegrate.
Right. Right.
So I don't know. IDW has them at the moment, and well, they had them in 2012. So it's been 10 years since anyone even tried, and I think that as much fun as they are, they're just a product of their times and should be probably, much like Johnny Quest, should be left in the 60s.
Right.
Or, although I really did like the Johnny Quest teaming up with Tom and Jerry. Go figure.
Yeah.
They also teamed up with Scooby-Doo, and I really like that too. So.
Yeah, I know you like Scooby-Doo. We had an episode where you talked about Scooby-Doo. Did
I? Because Daphne.
I know.
Even though I really admire and like Velma's brains quite a bit.
But Daphne, yeah.
And Velma's probably not inclined to like me, so at least these days.
So, who are you friends with on Facebook? Is it Chris Claremont or Jim Lee?
Will Mineo, who drew this.
You said, okay, but Gambit was created by those two people, Chris Claremont.
Oh, I meant created by Tiger.
And Jim Lee.
Well,
but you mentioned you were friends with somebody who created Gambit.
No. I'm sorry. I misled you. Will Mineo did the designs for the X-Men series. Those are his. Jim Lee, he took Jim Lee's horrible X-Men costumes and brought them over to animation. He also did Gem. because he's truly outrageous. Transformers, maybe he worked on Spider-Man a bit. Done a
All
lot
right,
of it.
then I was confused.
No, I
I-
misstated. It was me. But yes, Will has done a lot in animation. Lots.
Okay.
In fact, he employed Vicky, Dale's wife. Dale? No, Kirk's wife. Kirk's
Kirk.
wife.
Yeah.
Who he employed
She
her.
did Shrek.
Yes, and then yes, she did Shrek, which impressed Brick way more than it should have, because he's like, you know her, and I'm like, well, yeah, she's super nice, sitting right next to me at the bar. He probably wanted me to introduce her, and I'm like, why?
Probably.
She likes me right now. I don't want her to hate
Yeah,
me.
I don't want to make her mad at me.
Oh, we have way too much fun at his expense. So yes, yeah, I misspoke.
Okay.
He did the
Okay.
cartoon storyboards and the designs of the characters, and just tons. He's yeah,
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
Gem would be, probably what you would know
Right.
as well, because truly outrageous.
Yep.
I've watched way too much Gem in my life, and that's been like 10 episodes.
Gem is my name. No one else is the same.
It's not a terrible show, really. I mean,
Oh, it's bad.
uh,
I rewatched. You put them on the discs for me, and I started rewatching. It is bad.
I guess because I never hated it, and because I never saw it. I mean, I knew it not as a kid, because I wasn't. I mean, but it wasn't my demographic. They were shooting for
Right.
a younger female demographic, and no matter what you say about my quality, that's not me. So but I've watched some of it, and I'm like, these are pretty obvious Madonna ripoffs for the most part.
Oh yeah.
I really like
And
I like the Stingers the best, because they're just jerks. But
right.
But
But for young girls, I mean, it was fine. But as an adult, definitely just stupid.
it was huge. I mean, it lasted 5 seasons. That's insane. I mean, Batman the Animated Series lasted 3, and that's
So
just...
Gem's better than Batman.
Now I have to use Kolinar to pretend you never said that.
You need another round of Kolinar.
I need another. This is my Kolinar right here. Fine, fine, faint. This alcohol is defective. Fine, faint. Here's Uranus.
I need more potion.
More potion, please.
All right, so
We just dropped into the Big Bang Theory.
we sure did.
Comic books. I mean, we're right there. So, all right, there's our episode about superheroes, and the ones we like that are well or well not known. Lilith wins that one because hers is way more well known than mine. But until our next episode, my fellow agents and my fellow warriors, this is X7, along with Lilith Draco, signing off. Be seeing you.
Live long and prosper.
I got beer.
I got bottled breast milk.
Why don't we start with the beer?
Okay.
So you like the beer?
I do. Although it's actually a lager.
Huh. What's the difference between beer and lager?
I don't know. We could look it up.